Welcome to Genealogy Coffee Break, brought to you by us, the librarians at the Center for Jewish History. My name is Ty Marks, and I'm here with my colleagues from the Lillian Goldman Reading Room and the Ackman and Ziff Family Genealogy Institute. Today, we will discuss the National Jewish Welfare Board's World War II service records. During today's episode, please feel free to send us questions in the comment section so that we can answer them live. If we do not get to your question, or if you are not watching live, you can email your question to inquiries@cjh.org. If you know anyone who may be interested in watching this program, please share it with them, and you can access previous episodes of Genealogy Coffee Break by going to the video section of the Center for Jewish History's Facebook page, or cjh.org/genealogy coffee break. Did you know that we offer free Zoom workshops for Jewish and non-Jewish community groups? Topics range from Jewish and non-Jewish genealogy research to preserving family photos and documents. If you or someone you know or group you know are interested in scheduling a Zoom workshop, please contact us at gi@cjh.org. We also offer one-on-one virtual reference meetings to assist with in-depth or complex genealogy and collections-based research questions. Who will find this program worthwhile? This series is intended for a general audience. Beginners or advanced researchers are welcome. You do not need to be Jewish to find our research tips helpful. We focus on free online resources that can be accessed from home. Ask us about Zoom workshops or suggest a topic. So let's begin with a brief introduction. The National Jewish Welfare Board, or NJWB, was created to meet the needs of Jewish servicemen and became a national federation of local agencies and social service institutions dedicated to meeting the social, cultural, intellectual, physical, and spiritual needs of the American Jewish community. One unit of the NJWB, the Bureau of War Records, kept detailed records about the Jewish servicemen the NJWB served. These records include approximately 85,000 individual service files and 320,000 surrogate index cards collected by the Bureau of War Records and the Greater New York War Records Committee on behalf of Jewish soldiers and sailors who served in World War II. Today we are focusing on the alphabetical MasterCard series, which are called the World War II Jewish Servicemen cards on Ancestry. These service records serve as an abbreviated, annotated index for the more substantial individual service files of Jewish service personnel who won awards or suffered casualties during the war. If you're interested in learning more about these records from a historical perspective, or if you're interested in some of the other records we have related to the NJWB or Jews in military history, I highly recommend watching the AJHS Live from the Archives episode called GI Jews. A link to this program will be posted in the comments section. So today, I'd like you to walk away with 3 key understandings: how to access the records, how to locate your person of interest, and how to understand these records. So to begin the discussion on how to access the records, we'll begin with the access points. There are 3 access points to these records. The first, and the one I highly recommend, is Ancestry. The second is FoldThree, which can be a bit messy. And then the final is the Finding Aid. So if you are using Ancestry, you can either use your personal subscription, and if you don't have your own personal subscription, you can use your membership to a local library and use their Ancestry subscription through their Databases tab. So now I'm going to walk you through how to access those records. So once you're on the main page of Ancestry's website, you'll go to the navigation menu at the top of the page and click Search, then select Card Catalog. Once you get to this page, type in Jewish servicemen cards, not just Jewish servicemen, because that will also turn up another collection. Then click on the collection, and you'll have a form like this. From here, you can put in the person you're searching for's first and last name. If you want, you can put their location, especially if they have a very common name. Another way you can look through these is to browse the collection by cycling through the name groupings, but I suggest just putting your person's name in. Just for the sake of this presentation and to show you how it looks, I'm just going to type in a common last name. And then you get results that look like this. So you can either click View Record, or you can click on the photo icon over here under the column that says View Images. And that will take you to a page that looks like this. If you locate who you're looking for and you verify that the information is consistent with what you know about the person you're looking for, you can click this tools icon here and you can download it to your device. Or you can click save and then you can save it to your computer this way. So just to recap, you go to Ancestry's page, you click search, which is in the navigation menu at the top of the page, select card catalog, and type in Jewish servicemen cards. You fill in your person's information and then you click search. Our next access point is FoldThree. I'm not a huge fan of looking specifically for Jewish servicemen cards through FoldThree, just because the information is not organized in such a concise way through this site. On Ancestry, you can go to the card catalog and you see that all of the Jewish servicemen records are lumped together. And they'll also turn up if you're doing a basic Ancestry search. Through FoldThree, it's a little bit messier because, again, the cards are not grouped together in one section. But I'll walk you through that and show you how it works if you decide to check FoldThree. So this is FoldThree's website. Just like with Ancestry, if you don't have your own subscription, you can use your library subscription to this service. This is what their homepage looks like. You can begin by typing your person's name into the search bar here, or you can click search and type in their name here and filter out using the fields to the left of the page. Personally, when I look through this, particularly if I'm looking for a specific war or something like that, I just scroll down and I click on the war that I'm interested in. So in this case, it would be World War II. And that sets all of the research parameters that I'd like. From there, you would type in your person's name. Again, for this example, I'm using someone very generic. And then you will see records come up. It may take a while to go through this information if the person you're looking for has a common name. So that's one way to do it. You can also try to type in Jewish servicemen card, but that doesn't always turn up results because at this point, the keywords are getting a little too specific. Some other search methods that you can use is just typing in Jewish servicemen card. But again, because the records are not into one neat place, and this depends on people grouping some documents together, it can be very messy and it can take a while to look through everything. So one method is typing in Jewish servicemen cards, and then you can sort them A through Z, which will give you various documents. Let's pretend for a minute that I'm looking for Albert J. Fisher. You can see here someone has compiled his documents together, and he has 15 sources. And he also has Jewish servicemen cards somewhere in his metadata tags. So we'll click on him. And in some cases, you will be able to see various documents that have been uploaded to FoldThree about this person. So you can click this arrow that says view more images. So you see some newspaper clippings about him. You see some of the enlistment documents and the National Jewish Welfare Board Bureau of War Records card for him here. This isn't always the case, but that's one way you could do it. But your best bet would be to just type in the specific person's name and just see what comes up. Um, just to kind of further emphasize how the records aren't all in the same place, you can check um, Jewish servicemen's cards. I've also seen people search National Jewish Welfare Board. Oops, sorry. And you'll have some other records turn up in A to Z, or you can click relevance, but you just get a bunch of different documents. And they might not necessarily be what you're looking for or who you're looking for. So I suggest sticking with Ancestry. But this is a great site if you are looking for um, a variety of military records for the person you're researching. So to recap FoldThree, kind of messy. It's best if you're just looking for a variety of records for someone rather than specifically their serviceman cards. But you can go to their website and type in Jewish serviceman cards or the person's name and click search and use a variety of different search methods to look for records there. The final access point is through the collection's finding aid. Now, I only recommend this if you do not see your the person you're researching's information in any of these cards and you know or suspect that they had filled out one of these cards. In that case, and I'll walk you through this in a moment, you'll go to the finding aid, locate where their name might be in the alphabetical MasterCard sequence, and then you'll email inquiries@cjh.org and let us know the collection number and the box that this information was in, along with the person's name. And we will try to locate their card. And if we do locate their card and we find that it for some reason hasn't been digitized, then we'll discuss the digitization process with you. However, Ancestry did do a very thorough job in digitizing these records. So you should definitely check Ancestry first. And again, if for some reason you suspect that this person did have a card, you can contact us and we can work something out. Another option in one of these scenarios is that the card wasn't sent back to the NJWB for some reason and it got lost or it's in someone's records at home. So that's another reason why someone's record might not be there, or maybe they never got a card. So those are just a few things to consider. So to access the finding aid for this collection, you'll go to archives.cjh.org. I'm not going to spend too much time in how to efficiently locate this record here because I did go over how to conduct virtual research and how to navigate archival finding aids in 2 previous Genealogy Coffee Break episodes. So right now we're just going to do a very quick search for this collection. So I put I-52 in parentheses, selected limit to collections, and selected identifier because the call number is the identifier in this collection. And that brings up the collection we're looking for. So we'll click on that. Go to Collection Organization on the right side of the page, navigate to Series 6, Card Files, and then click Subseries A, Alphabetical Master Cards. And that will give you a list of the groups of names in the collection. So for just as an example, we'll pretend that I'm looking for someone whose last name is Cohen, and it falls within Schlebov and Kurt Cohen. We'll click on there. And then at the top of the page, you'll see the name grouping, and it also say the box number. So if I needed to verify that the card that is actually in the collection or one of the other scenarios that we've already discussed, you would email inquiries@cjh.org. And you would say you're looking for Kurt Cohen in I-52 box 285. And that's the information that we would need to check these records. So again, that's just a very quick way to go through the finding aid for that. If you do need a refresher on how to navigate finding aids, you can see our previous Genealogy Coffee Break episode, Navigating Finding Aids at CJH. But again, for your own notes, you would do what I just did. It's under Series 6 Card Files, Subseries A Alphabetical MasterCard, and the box information will be in the upper left corner of the screen. Now moving on to understanding the records. What does the information on the record mean? So there are a few notations that I'd like to make you aware of. This is generally what one type of card looks like, and I'll show you what the other card looks like in a moment. But one thing you also should note is that the information isn't always perfectly aligned on the card, but they still follow, the general information. So you'll have the person's name, their rank in the military, sometimes their age is included. There are also instances where one card will be used for a family of people who were enlisted. In that case, you would have the family name up here and then the members' names listed in order. I think it's from oldest to youngest. But in this case, it is just one person. So you have their name, their rank, their age, their next of kin. For this example, that is this person's wife. And it has the person's address. And if the address is the same as the next of kin listed, it'll say same. And then there's also the date that the National Jewish Welfare Board received the information. And then lower down, you'll have the military branch that the person was in. A few other notations that you should be aware of is whether or not someone was authenticated or not authenticated as Jewish. If their status was verified, there will be an authenticated stamp in the rectangle on the top left corner of the page. If not, that means that whether or not they were Jewish has not been verified. If a person was Jewish, there will be no other special markings. However, if they were not Jewish, there will be an extra large hole punch in the top left corner of the page. And this isn't always verified or unverified information. Again, if they are verified Jewish, it'll say authenticated with nothing else. If they were verified not Jewish, you'll see a hole punch and then the authenticated stamp. There's another thing I would like to mention. So if there is a hole punch, if you notice the hole punches along the left sides of the page, those are usually associated with cards that have colored bands on them. And then you'll also notice that there are cards that are, or information that's printed on solid color paper. If you're curious about the other hole punches along the left side of the page and what that could possibly mean, I suggest watching AJHS's Live from the Archives episode, GI Jews, and Melanie, the director of collections and engagement for AJHS, discusses this along with other interesting facts about these cards. So, color notations. For the paper that has the hole punches all along the side, and the paper that's, the information that's printed on solid color, some of the colors mean the same thing, and there are also some variations. So, um, if a paper has a blue band on it, or if the paper's blue, that means that the person was a prisoner. If the paper um, has hole punches along the left but is white, that means that they died. Or if the paper is printed on white but doesn't have hole punches, and I'll show you a specific example of what that looks like, that also means that they died. For the hole punched paper, green means missing in action, and for the solid color paper, peach means missing in action. Red, a red band on the hole punched paper means wounded. Pink solid paper means wounded. Orange band on the hole punch paper means there was a award bestowed, and a yellow paper means that there was an award bestowed. So this is an example of what the prisoner notation looks like. On the left, you have the blue band. On the right, you have the blue paper. You'll also want to pay attention to some other information that's on these cards. So, for example, you have noted here that this person was a prisoner by the blue band, also the blue stamp, but there's also a stamp up here that says liberated. And then on this card on the right side of the page, there's a note that says that there is a missing card. So this person was a prisoner and at some point was also missing. So pay close attention to some of the other notations that are on these pages. And this is an example of what death cards look like. On the left, it's just the hole punch paper with no special bands, but it also has death stamped on it. If you do see records like this and it doesn't have a death stamp, that doesn't necessarily, I'm sorry, if you see a paper like what's on the left, and there's no color bands on it, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person died. Just look for the stamp that says death on it. And then on the right, you have information printed on a white card and it has the death stamp on it. So that's what that looks like. This is what the missing in action cards look like. And you can see with the one on the left, this person was awarded something. And then on this peach card on the right, you can see that this person at some point was missing in action, but was noted as a survivor. So another example of some other information that's noted on these cards that you'll want to pay attention to. This is an example of what wounded cards look like. This is an example of what an award paper looks like. And sometimes you'll see abbreviations of what those awards are on the front of the paper, like on the right side, you'll see what they were awarded. And sometimes it's notated on the back of the card. So that brings us to the end of the presentation. Again, if you're interested in learning more about the NJWB and the different NJWB collections held at AJHS, I highly recommend watching the GI Jews episode from Live at the Archives. If you have any lingering questions, you can type them into the comment box now. Myself and my colleagues will stick around for a short while to answer any questions. If you come up with any questions later on, you can always email us at gi@cjh.org. If you are interested in email updates, you can do so by opening the tiny URL bit.ly/CJHE-news to receive information about other programs and news from the Center for Jewish History. And if you are able, please consider making a donation to the Center for Jewish History at cjh.org/donate now. Any amount counts. These donations enable us to make free programs like Genealogy Coffee Break available to everyone. Take care, and please join us again for our Genealogy Coffee Breaks on Tuesdays at 3:30 p.m.